Certainly every state agency has its challenges, and PennDOT's certainly no exception. But I would like to take this opportunity to call out a few folks who work for you, who have really helped me out and my office. Amanda Black, Cass Green, Joan Williams, David Lapidat. I also appreciate Bob Kennedy, Gene Blom, and others at District 6. I think sometimes they're sick of hearing from me since I call them so often, and I admit I am a pest, but they have been helpful in resolving many issues, and I appreciate that. Of course, we do still have some to resolve. I realize that you've only been on the job for a couple months. I have a few questions that I'm going to ask now, and I'm going to ask if you can get me the answers over the next few weeks. I want to know what the department's policy is on Clearview versus Highway Gothic font use on highway signs, since the federal government has given us some flexibility on this matter. Personally, I would prefer us to stay with Highway Gothic, since we have to pay to use Clearview. I would specifically like to know what PennDOT and PennDOT's contractors have paid in licensing royalties to use Clearview. I'd also like to know what PennDOT is doing to hold third-party contractors responsible who install signs that are not MUTCD compliant. The Pennsylvania taxpayer is paying contractors to install road signs, but many of these signs that they're installing, at least in my area, are not compliant with federal rules and regulations. We shouldn't be paying for those signs. My area and Pennsylvania as a whole has inherited a generation of concrete roads built in the 1950s, then overlaid several times with asphalt. In my area, US Route 1, PA 41, US 30, and many secondary roads fall into this category. During the freeze-thaw cycle, the old concrete road several layers down moves at a different rate than the asphalt, which caused cracks in newly laid asphalt. I recently brought Gene Blom from District 6 out to see this happening on Route 41 near the intersection with PA 796. Less than 7 months after the road was repaved, cracks from the old concrete underneath are forming and causing large potholes in the brand new road surface. I want to know what the department is going to do to make sure these cracks are sealed to preserve the recently laid asphalt. I also want to know what PennDOT has done to look into milling up the layers of asphalt, using rubblization on the 70-year-old concrete to make a new excellent road base, and then lay asphalt or new concrete. This certainly costs more, but the result would be 10 times better. I really want to know what PennDOT has done to look at rubblization. Next, I'd like to know what options PennDOT and SEPTA are looking at to extend commuter rail on the Broad Street line down to the Navy Yard in Philadelphia. I've seen estimates that it will cost $1.5 billion to extend that rail line a little more than a mile. That's too much, and in my view, at that price, it will never get done. That estimate is for a subway. I want to know what it would cost to do it above ground, and if that brings the project into the realm of reality. I'd like to know what it would cost to bring trolley service to Westchester from the new station being built at Wawa. Now, with all of that, I do have one question I'd like to ask now. In 2014, the Gaming Control Board awarded Stadium Casino a license to build a new casino in South Philadelphia. As a condition of winning this license, Stadium Casino agreed to build a badly needed on-ramp to the Schuylkill Expressway westbound near the stadiums and the proposed casino. At that time, the casino said they had set aside $19 million to construct this on-ramp. Flash forward to August of last year, the Gaming Control Board, regrettably, in my opinion, reduced the obligation unilaterally from $19 million to $3 million and put the onus on the government, not the casino, to build the on-ramp. This is a huge and avoidable loss. But importantly, the Gaming Control Board inserted a provision that if the on-ramp is not approved and permitted by August of 2024, the $3 million obligation from the casino will expire. So we have 4.5 years to get this permitted and approved, or we lose this money. This is badly needed infrastructure to service the stadium area in South Philadelphia. Can you give me some sort of commitment today that PennDOT or one of your partners that you work with will dedicate the resources necessary to move on this opportunity so this ramp gets built?
Thank you for all the comments. I really appreciate it. You know a lot about what we're doing, especially in Southeast Pennsylvania. With regard, I have to say something about the signs. You mentioned the signs, and that's part of our maintenance program, is to go over asset management of the signs. Take out the old signs, the signs that are outdated, the signs that don't meet the current requirements, and so forth. So we're not there yet, but it's part of our program. Back to the ramp you mentioned, and I'm quite familiar with that ramp. The challenge is that section of I-76 is actually, it's under the jurisdiction of DRPA, right? Delaware River Port Authority. And we've had several meetings with the RPA, and the folks from the commissioners or actually board of the DRPA was, we had some meetings with them, I had some discussions with them. Secretary Richards actually talked to some of the board members. We're trying to resolve the issue. We're not sure where they stand with the ramp, right? And that's the challenge here. We're willing to build it, we're willing to maintain it and take it over, but there is some jurisdiction issues here that we need to figure it out. I know the district is extremely engaged in this project in the ramp. It's a much needed ramp, and we're looking into it. And I'll be glad to work with you and provide you with an update on where we are.
So my time's expired. I am aware the DRBA owns that section of I-76, but we need to get them to the table. We cannot let them hold this up.